Welcome everyone to episode 27 of Chat, Grapple and Cheap Pops podcast. I am Chris Dredd. I'm here with my main man, JB. How's it going?
We are all good. It is it's January. We're still locked down. You know, we still can't leave our house without a sniper on the roof looking to pick us off. Apart from that,
I feel like Akon, man.
It's
fuck.
Not a lot's changed.
That's right.
Yeah.
But we have had, so I say this is episode 27. We've had a couple of episodes in between episode 26 and 27. There are our bonus end of year grappies and our welcome to 2021 episode. But now we're back on the reviews. And we're doing a review of a show preceding a show that we're going to review.
The show, that's right.
The show before the show, baby. And this is what we just love it, man. So, George, how you doing, man? Everything all right? Family well? Everyone cool?
Yeah, everyone's good. You know, we're rolling. You know, that's it. There's no other way to put it. You know, this is how it is at the minute.
You have to do that when you say rolling, though.
Oh, okay.
Rolling.
I should have done the dance.
Reminds me of fucking WrestleMania 19, mate.
It's it's not bad. You know, we've got. This is a weird one. There's not a lot of news going on around wrestling. We like to do a bit of news before we start, and this is.
Yeah.
I mean,
so what you got? You got some bits.
I got a couple of bits. You know, let's
start.
Raw continues to suck. Let's be honest.
Raw.
Are they doing it on purpose?
Are they what to boost another certain show?
No, just to get it right down, and then almost
boost it back up again.
Almost hit the restart button.
Well, I mean,
I would.
Yes, there's a and while they've got no fans, they're just thinking, fuck. It's one of them fuck it moments, isn't it? It's one of them fuck it. Just save some money. Did you see the Randy Orton Burnt Man promo?
I did. I saw that. It wasn't the best part of the show, to be honest. The best part of the show was a certain move, that took place. AJ Styles and Ricochet's bouncing off the ropes into the Styles Clash thing. That was excellent.
But anything that AJ's involved in is fucking sweet, dude. Like, this is a thing. I've been wanking over AJ Styles in ring work since. Fucking
you main
years.
evented the first British wrestling show I went to see, so
you know what I mean. And I've still got that on DVD, bruv. I've got it on DVD, and I still think, despite shit that's going on, I think at some point we've got to review that show, bro. It's International Showdown.
That wasn't International Showdown. This was the first British wrestling show I went to see. It was in Broxbourne.
Oh, that okay. Is that the one where you got the picture with him as well?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yes.
FWA,
Frontier Wrestling Alliance. For anyone who don't know, if you don't know FWA, she's too young for you, bro.
We're talking about British wrestling, man. They're all too young for him.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. So, I was going to mention another British wrestler who's in a scandal at the moment with a young fan, but I won't go into it. Cut his mic. Yeah. So the news is, Ricochet and AJ was a pretty good match, I thought.
Yeah. I don't think it was as good as Daniel Bryan and Cesaro on SmackDown. Let's be honest, SmackDown's the A show. It's killing it with a lot of their stuff. I mean, obviously there's a few bits that you can say, oh, okay, maybe they don't need to do that, but it's still the best. It's the best wrestling show on TV, despite what Matt Hardy said last night on Impact.
Well,
Good Lord.
also we're talking about Randy Orton. Randy Orton, if you remember, and you go back to our Grappy Awards, I've actually picked him to win the Royal Rumble, didn't I?
Yes.
He was
I
my
was going
shout.
to ask if you've had any fresh predictions, any new sort of like.
No, after
like,
seeing that Burnt Man promo, where he looks like one of the Invaders,
it looks a little lucha, doesn't it?
he looks like a little lucha. He looks like he's gonna either get his chest stomped and then be puking up blood. Do you remember that crazy footage?
Oh, yeah.
Invaders, one of them gets stamped on. I thought that was gonna happen, but no. Since I watched that promo, I'm sticking to my guns and still saying that Randy Orton's going to win the Royal Rumble. So, or if anything, it might be the Fiend. It's either, I don't know if the Fiend's going to be in the Rumble. Is he?
I still got some, still got some eggs in the Daniel Bryan basket.
But I mean, it's a good shout. I mean, we could have a little punt on that.
Yeah.
It might be worth taking I was going to say the name of the bookies, but I will say our local bookie popping down there. It might be worth having a couple of quid. Can you still bet on wrestling?
I think there's one or two that take wrestling bets.
If you can bet on an election, you should be able to bet on wrestling because they're pretty much the same thing, right?
It's all a fix. Yeah, I think we don't talk storylines on this show, like especially like about current stuff, because why the hell would we?
Yeah.
Is it time on Raw in particular to have an authority figure that is more than all like the old GM stuff, a commissioner type, but one that can actually get a hold of it and say, look, this show's garbage. I'm here to fix it. Could they actually do that on TV?
I mean, first of all, why not? It has been done before.
Yeah.
But I do think that they're just with no crowds and all that kind of stuff. I mean, where are these things being filmed still? Like performance centers and all that?
No, they moved. They moved from Orlando to somewhere else. Might even be Tampa.
Okay. When you say Orlando, it reminds me of the old TNA days when they were in the Orlando, Florida.
At Universal
Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Universal. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just think at the moment they just can't be asked with it. There's just not a lot of effort getting put in. Maybe the writers are all working from home or whatever, and it's not quite gelling. They're just doing it over a fucking Zoom call or whatever. I'm not quite sure, but it's just not gelling at the moment. It's just not. I mean, I just think wrestling in general, when there's not a lot of crowds, is fucking shit. Because wrestling is.
I think we've seen some mad wrestling matches in front of like 10 people. It's like so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you when you're in the ring, you're playing for the crowd. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, not to say that these guys can't have great matches, but I just think, yeah. I mean, you can imagine some of the matches we've had this last year. If they were to be done in front of a crowd, it would have been, roof being blasted off the fucking place. It's even like I say, I mean, we talk about AEW and stuff. I mean, even the match Tay Conti versus Serena D. You know what I mean? That was a great match, I thought. And if that was in front of a more packed house, I've watched it twice. I don't know why.
Oh, I mean, like we said that SmackDown's still the A show. AEW is just happy to beat NXT on Wednesdays, it seems. Our man TK continues to flex on a show that is watched by less people than his own show. What's going on?
But as well, I mean, we're gonna.
Can I do the big?
Sorry.
Match?
Yeah, I need to. And fucking have. I need a Tony Schiavone giggling next to me. It's one of these things, bro. But AEW is not buying Impact Wrestling. First of all, it's not happening. Okay. It's.
I might soundbite that when they do, just like.
No, I don't give a fuck, mate. They are. It's not happening. I mean, buying it will. First of all, it's not financially viable to be buying Impact
Another wrestling promotion, yeah. Like
no, it's not. It's not financially viable for him. And they're going to be maybe working in a long-term partnership. Sure, that's great. Okay, but when I see these AEW groups on Facebook, and you've got these people going, "Oh yeah, it's clear. The marks can't see it, but it's so clear."
Facebook.
Oh, dude, that fucking AEW group on Facebook is my
You
downfall.
need to like delete that app, man. It gives you headaches.
I need to stay off it. But like, it's just when people are like, "Yeah, the marks can't see it, but it's clear Tony Khan's buying Impact Wrestling, and Impact is going to be the third AEW show. It's going to be called AEW Impact." They say it with such certainty, like water is wet, AEW is buying Impact. And yet, Tony Khan, who has said, "I'm not going to be one of these authority figures who's on TV all the time," and blah, blah, blah. He's trying to be Mr. McMahon, isn't he? He's just trying to be.
Well, I don't know what. It's weird because he doesn't come across as Vincey, and he doesn't come across as Eric Bischoff at all. But
smarky. He's trying to be the smarky version of Vince
again,
McMahon.
it's that same old thing that we talk about every week, where they appeal to that demographic that they've already got behind them. Like, that's great, but
yeah,
again, he's on a TV show yesterday, which is Tuesday because Impact was on yesterday, and he's sitting there, he's flexing and grinning, writing in his little captain's log notebook and that, on a show that's watched by less people that watch, AEW Dark probably on YouTube. I'm
the fucking mark.
Doesn't make sense.
I tell you what, it does give me some kind of joy to see like the occasional comment on the thing like, "Fucking hell, Tony Khan's a mark." Like, it's just, and then that person gets like dogpiled on, but I just like, I give you a like.
I'm not even sure if he's a mark. I just think he's been given some bad advice. I would go with that. I would think, other people getting in his ear saying, "Yeah, good idea, Tony. Good idea, Tony. Keep paying me money, please." Like,
he's got but this is the thing. He's surrounded by yes men who are just happy to be getting a paycheck, and he's surrounded by wrestlers that are just happy to be on TV. So it's one. I mean, and talking about the Tay Conti with Anna Jay versus Serena Deeb. Is it Dweeb or Deeb? It's Deeb, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Deeb, yeah. I thought that was a great match, but I think, people like Tay Conti and that probably would end up at some point in WWF. Do you think WWE? You think like Anna Jay at some point, maybe in the future? I mean,
how long it's tied down for with AEW?
But this is the thing. I mean, it's got to happen at some point. I mean, if you think about this, if you was a wrestler, bro, if you was MJF, yeah, and they said, WWE said, "Yeah, come down. We want you on our show." I mean, despite people going to argue, "Yeah, but they've got the Miz who's similar and all this," just fucking shut up for a minute, okay? If you're a wrestler, okay, and you're working in AEW, surely your aim at one point is to get to WWE, don't you think? Like, I mean, it's still.
Well,
really.
Obviously, it's we could easily just hop back in time and say, we go back to the great days of 1994, 95, where there was more money flying about, and people could jump to another show and have that huge impact and stuff. It's just, I do think that anyone that's in AEW was offered that sort of contract, the big time, big money, they would flip.
Of course they would, but this is the thing.
There's one or two that wouldn't, obviously,
Yeah, but the thing is though, the one or two that wouldn't are probably not the ones that would get asked in the first place.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Mox would be asked back if given the chance to sign him, they would sign him back up.
Nah.
Of course they would.
I think so, fam.
I know we've said what we said about him, but he's a name, he's a face, he
can't draw a dime.
He would make some more money.
Can't draw. Sorry, man. I mean, imagine if they did like a Shield reunion or something. That'd be
I'm
fun.
sure that would be
like Police Academy 6.
Yeah. Why not? Jaws 5. Yeah.
Jaws 5. You know what I mean? Like Jaws 1, but just shitter. Yeah, I don't know where we're going with that, but it was fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but my point is, like, you know, AEW. I do think that there are some guys that will end up in WWE, despite all the shit talking from the AEW fans that anything to do with WWE sucks balls. I still do think that WWE does do some really good stuff, and I, I mean, like I say, this whole past year, I've loved what they've been doing with Bailey and Sasha and all that kind of stuff. There's been some great emerging stars coming through. They're still the show, bro. They're still where people are aiming kind of to be. AEW isn't quite at the level where they can compete. I mean, Impact Wrestling isn't at the level where it can compete.
We also have to mention a Grappy Award winner that went down to defeat this week.
Oh,
on
gutting that was.
Of AEW's New Year's thing.
He missed the shape.
Ico Pro Grappy Award winner went down to a £150 skateboarding TNT champion. It doesn't make any sense.
Dude, I felt like Cartman, yeah, when I was watching it. I'm like, you don't have to take this kind of crap from this scrawny weakling. You know what I mean? Big cake. Like fucking Brian Cage. He should have just big cake. He should have just eaten him, dude. Like, there's no, big cake. He should have just done him.
Like with a man that size, and they've got a couple of big guys. They've got 3 or 4 really big guys in AEW. You can't book them that week.
But because then they just look like pussies, and they're like they're like toothless tigers. You've got someone who looks like he literally 3 times a day Ico Pro shakes. Fucking he won our award, for goodness sake. The geezer's a savage. He should have really. I mean, Darby Allin is what, 140 pounds soaking wet. He should have been ragdolled around. If anything, if they still wanted to keep Darby Allin strong, they could have just had Cage just literally beat the fuck out of him and get disqualified by bringing some weapon in or something. He
wouldn't have needed to. He could have just kept pounding on him, and the refs
it's just that's right.
Darby had to resort to using his skateboard or something.
Absolutely, just to keep them both strong. But it's.
And nobody's against someone doing what they got to do to keep a title. Jesus.
I mean, I've seen. I need to stop because I've seen some other stuff about Orange Cassidy as well. How he's the greatest wrestler to ever have lived, and that, like, some people literally saying he's like the greatest. When did he last wrestle?
I don't know, man, but I'm getting the keys and I'm starting up the DeLorean because we're going to crank it up to 88 miles per hour.
We're going back. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to also.
I can't talk about Orange Cassidy, man.
No, we can't. All right, so I'll tell you what. Just before we get into the show, before the show, I've actually got a show before the show that I was watching as well. That I might
the main event.
Quickly. It was the WrestleMania 5 debates.
Oh, the debates, yes.
Did you watch any of them?
I saw a little bit after you sent them to me.
Oh, bro, it was fucking funny. I mean, we won't spend long on it, but it's just great. But I wanted to shout out Kevin Williams, a geezer, just to say how the tentacles of Chat Grapple and Cheap Pops podcast reach far out into this cyber world. I was on Facebook Marketplace, and I put up. I had a couple of albums up, sticker albums, like spare ones. So I put them up, and I had this geezer, Kevin Williams. He asked me if I still had the album. I said, sorry, mate, it's sold. Then he asked me, have you got any other stickers or cards and that sealed? And obviously I have. We got talking and that. And I was saying about how I opened a couple of packs on the podcast. And he goes, oh, what podcast is that? I said, oh, Chat Grapple and Cheap Pops podcast. He goes, oh, I know you guys. I follow you guys on Twitter. And it is actually Tweet Wrestling. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Kev. I sent him a few bits and bobs. He bought some cards off us and some stickers. Bits and bobs. So, yeah, man, he's going to tweet us out once the package arrives. Good old British Royal Mail. He'll be there tweaking the curtains, waiting for the postman. And when it arrives, he's going to put a little picture out. So I just wanted to shout out Kev, really nice bloke. And I actually sold him a sticker, so he's completed his metal album now. So that's he was a happy bunny. So shout out to you, Kev. He's got a book called Wrestling Figures of the 90s or something like that, I think it's called. Wrestling Figures of the 1990s. Go and buy that. Check out his book. And big up yourself, Kev. Tweak Wrestling. So we're jumping in the DeLorean. Yeah, you got the keys.
Before we reach 88 miles per hour, we do want to remind people to tickle our bell,
bro.
Just give it a little.
Even more so now, we do need people to flick our bells, okay? Because it's getting a bit crazy. Like, anyone watching this, just touch our bells. We're happy to acknowledge once we really just want to get, because we don't want your money. We've got no Patreon. We've got no paid content. We've got nothing. All of this you get for buck she. You know what I mean? As they say in Cockney rhyming slang, you get it for free. We don't charge you for nothing. We don't want your money. We want YouTube's money.
That's right. So hit that subscribe button.
Touch it.
Hit the like, hit the comment. If you're listening on, one of the many podcast sort of sites or, apps you can use, hit that like, hit that follow, write a review, give us 5 stars. You want to. 5 stars.
No, give us 7 stars for Meltzer. 9, 12. Give us fucking untold stuff.
We're in a Kenny Omega match. Give us 5.5 stars. Yes.
Do it, bro. And we ain't got no sweepers either. We don't need a broom.
Hit any of those buttons. Hit any of those things. Write a review. Tell the world how handsome we are.
Do
tell your friends, tell your family, tell people that you can't stand it. Just because if you don't like it, tell them to listen to us. They'll
tell them to touch our bells. We love it.
And we know you're not going out, so
you ain't going nowhere. What are you doing? You're sitting in watching fucking videos of 2 dudes talking about wrestling. Come on, man.
That's what they should be doing. That's what
you should be doing, and we're happy you're doing it. But just touch our fucking bell, man. We've been floating around the same amount of subscribers. We need to get mean. Last time I got mean, we ended up with an extra 100 subscribers in a week. So let me tell you something, brothers. You need to touch our bells, get us excited, and this is what we like. You can look how excited I am at the thought of people touching our bells. Imagine if you actually did it. Come on, bruv. Touch the bell. It's there. I don't know. It's there. Touch it. Touch it. Just touch my bell. Touch Jordan's as well. Ding dong. Ting-a-ling-a-ling. See, we'll even sing for you. We're like fucking multifaceted entertainers right here.
We've hit 88 miles per hour. We've headed to Hershey Park.
We're there.
We're at the Hershey Park Arena, in Hershey, Pennsylvania, the place where they make terrible chocolate. And this isn't a take or anything. This isn't, something that Chris and I spoke about. Hershey chocolate is garbage.
I don't know, man. I'll tell you what. I'll go with you on the chocolate, maybe garbage. But I'll tell you what is nice. The little cartons of Hershey hot chocolate, but cold chocolate milkshake.
Oh, what, in the cartons?
Yeah, bro, come on, man. You ain't tried it. Do it, man. It's lovely. Not Hershey's Kisses or nothing. You don't like none of that shit, no.
No. But Hershey, Pennsylvania. A crowd of 9,000, and this is where it got me. It was a 10.0 TV rating. That is ridiculous. But then you realise you're on NBC, you're on one of the big channels, doing big things. This
whole angle. Where
millions of people tuning in.
This is incredible. So this is WWF Saturday night's main event from March the 11th, 1989. So it
was taped on February the 16th. Sorry.
Okay, so it was taped a month before that, and it is all based around WrestleMania 5. So WrestleMania 5 is going to be our next pay-per-view that we are covering. We've been talking about it for quite a little while, but WrestleMania 5, it broke all kinds of fucking records when it actually went out.
Yeah.
Vince must have been fucking wanking himself silly. The amount of money they made off WrestleMania 5, off pay-per-view buys, off the actual bums in seats.
Yeah, I'm sure they might still been doing closed circuit as well around that time.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, there was a thing where basically it was in Trump Towers, okay? It was in Trump's
It's a
casino in Atlantic City, WrestleMania 5. And basically, the cable companies wanted to allow bars to show it, so people could go to the bars and watch WrestleMania 5. Vince McMahon didn't want that. He was actually arguing, and he went up against the cable companies and was saying, look, we don't want fucking bars and that to be showing it, because then more people, they're only paying one thing, and then loads of people are watching it. But Donald Trump actually went against Vince McMahon and said to him, no, bollocks, mate, we're not having that. You've got to let bars show it, because then it's more exposure for, the Trump Plaza and all this kind of stuff, which is a good business decision for Trump. And basically he made Vince turn 180 and say, yeah, okay, fuck it. There's a lot of stuff going on with WrestleMania 5. Also at the time, Ted Turner had just been involved with WCW, and he was trying to put something up against I think Great American Bash. He was trying to put it on the same day as WrestleMania 5.
There was a Clash of Champions.
Perhaps. Clash of Champions. Good shout. So he wanted, but in the end, he ended up putting on like some other fucking TV, like a couple of days after or something. But there was talk, and he really wanted to go head to head Clash of Champions with WrestleMania 5. But I mean, WrestleMania 5 itself, that it is possibly one of the biggest angles for that time that was happening, was this whole Hulk Hogan versus Macho Man Randy Savage Mega Powers breakup, and the the piggy in the middle of Elizabeth.
It's the decision of a lifetime.
It is the decision of a lifetime
for Miss Elizabeth. She must choose whose corner she'll be in at WrestleMania 5. Vince and Jesse the Body are our commentators / interviewers / voiceover guys for this. And Jesse at the beginning interrupting Vince at every turn.
Brilliant.
Just keeps looking at him. Yeah.
He was.
Jesse knew how to piss him off.
Oh, and he did a great job. It was. It's good as well, because I remember in WrestleMania 5, which we will get to at some point. Obviously, it's going to be our next thing. But I do remember as well, like, Jesse Ventura never liked Hulk Hogan, and he was always, fucking
very
having to go
obvious,
with him. Yeah. It was obvious, and then he was like, when Hogan got into Hollywood, he's like, that's my domain, Hollywood, Hogan. How dare you fucking try and impede on my ground? But yeah, Jess in this show, Saturday Night Main Event, he was an absolute superstar, mate. He was the yin to Vince McMahon's yang, if I may put it like that.
Mean Gene starts us off with an interview. He's with the Ravishing One, Rick Rude, and one of our stars of the show for this one, Bobby Heenan. Heenan calls Gene Pee-wee pretty quickly.
It's brilliant, mate. And he's talking about, Brutus the Barber Beefcake giving people lousy haircuts. And he goes, you should know a thing or two about lousy haircuts.
Yeah.
Talking, it's great.
He says how image is important to them, not to Brutus, but to Rude and to Heenan. And the
image of wrestling as well.
Yeah. And what would happen if Brutus tried to put that sleeper hold on Rick Rude? Rick Rude with a cheeky look on his face, a rude awakening, and then gives a little kiss to the camera. Yeah.
Great. Amazing. I love Rick Rude, mate. I just think his in-ring work was just phenomenal. His whole character. He's fucking great, man.
He's selling for Beefcake, man. But
I know.
Beefcake calls Bobby Heenan a hairdryer.
Yeah.
And he's going to be cutting and strutting. He is clearly whacked out.
There's a few people on the old Tootaroonie on this show. Bit of fucking beak, you know what I mean? On the fucking packet. But bit of fucking beak. But you know, it's it's that time. It's 1989. Like
The party's still going.
The party's still going, dude. It's like, you know, Sunset Skip was there in the midst of all this as well. You know, shout out to Sunset. We don't want to talk about what he used to partake in. But his
Quaaludes,
tassel
right?
Huh?
Quaaludes.
Quaaludes, dude. Do you know what I mean? His tassel count was extremely high.
Yeah.
On the skip.
It is our first match of the evening. It is Rude and Beef, Brutus Bob Beefcake. Rude has the Ultimate Warrior on his tights because they're going to be up against each other at WrestleMania 5. He always had great sets of tights, didn't he, Rude? So, like, he had Cheryl Roberts on one set. You know, he had the Intercontinental title on it as well. Like, I think it was probably in that WrestleMania match as well.
Didn't he have one where he had two people on each butt cheek, and when he tensed his butt cheeks, it would do something to the people on the cheeks? Or it was something he had, like, he was fucking great, man. Like, but the thing is as well, wrestling attire, yeah, what a wrestler wears is so important, man. It's so, you know, people like Honky Tonk Man. Can you imagine if Honky Tonk Man came down and didn't wear what he wore? You know, it's one of them things where it makes the character. Even nowadays, I think a lot of wrestlers need to, you know, a lot of wrestlers do it really well, but there's also a lot of wrestlers that need to think a little bit more about their attire. You know what I mean?
Well, Randy Savage once said in an interview, like, the whole reason he wore such flamboyant gear was because, you know, you're channel hoppers. So, you know, someone's flicking a channel, they see someone in a cowboy hat that's got a feather sticking out of it, and, you know, it's all these multi colours and vibrant sort of crazy outfit he's got on with tassels everywhere. You know, people are going to stick around, especially if you're, you know, drunk or high or whatever.
Yeah.
People are like, oh yeah, that looks good.
Like if you see Double J's light up glasses, you're like,
yeah,
fucking hell, what the fuck was that?
These matches in general, like in particular, like in the whole show, it's a very short show. The matches aren't long, but I think the longest match is the tag team match.
I don't know,
Hogan.
The Hogan,
yeah,
the Hogan match is pretty long. Yeah.
Beefcake goes for the sleeper early. Big Andre the Giant shows up. And it's at this point where, like, you know, things are sort of like moving really quickly, and you see Rick Rude sell a reverse atomic drop, and you just remember how great he was at doing that.
Bro, I watched, and I watched it literally yesterday, and I watch it all the time when I want to laugh. It's the compilation of Rick Rude just taking atomic drops. It's just, you know, the lemon face and you know, it's just incredible. That should never be taken off YouTube. I'm telling you, that needs to be on there for life.
Andre finally starts laying waste to Brutus. He's by sitting on him and, you know, choking him. And Jake the Snake arrives.
I was cheering that, by the way.
What's that?
I was cheering Andre sitting on his head and choking him. I was like fucking the dad in Friday talking about choking a dog. I was like, I take him and I choke the shit out of him. I was like, yeah, choke him. Fucking jump on his head.
This is where it got confusing for me, because Jake brings the snake down, doesn't like, he sort of runs Andre off, but then Andre and Rude start getting the better of Jake, and Beefcake becomes the hero of, like, he was supposed to be getting saved. He shouldn't be saving anyone.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it was done well, but that's just
it was a bit crazy because they're trying to. I can see what they're doing. They're trying to obviously build up what's going to happen in WrestleMania. So they've got obviously, you know, Andre's got a match against Jake the Snake Roberts. Big John Studd obviously gets involved in this as well.
Yeah, Big John Studd, he comes down for a stare down with Andre, and the crowd are going nuts.
They're loving it, absolutely loving it. They'll pop in. Yeah, I think because they love Big John Studd as well. I mean, it was
he was the right from 1989 as well.
Yeah.
So like he had a bit of momentum behind him at the time. And Jake whips out his snake. Nothing wrong with that. and we get the announcement that Brutus Beefcake wins by DQ after all of that craziness. There was a lot of like sort of hectic activity in a very short space of time.
It was classic Heenan family, and Bobby the Brain Heenan in this Saturday night's main event, in the WrestleMania 5 debates, and in WrestleMania 5 itself. He was like the glue that was holding a lot of shit together, because
he was the star of the show. He was everywhere. Like
it was all over the place, and like
I'm surprised he didn't weasel his way into the main event.
And do you know what? I wish he fucking would have. To be honest,
Savage's corner or something. Yeah, like
it would have been great. He could have come and said, I don't want to. I don't want to give it away.
The family's got your back. Like
the family's got your back. But I tell you what, I just wanted to show a little bit of merchandise, if I may.
What's he got?
It's to do with managers, right? This DVD, I believe, is out of print now. It is.
Is it not on the network?
I don't think it is. I'm not sure. The World's Greatest Managers. I'm not sure if it is.
I'm not sure. I thought I might have seen it, but you never know. Like, I mean,
maybe it is on there.
When you scroll at the time of night, I scroll it, I could see anything. So
I'll tell you what, you don't get on the network though. You don't get a sealed pack of Topps cards in there.
You don't.
Look at this fucking. Look at the fucking man, the legend that is Bobby the Brain Heenan. This card is never getting opened. Do you know what I mean? But then, obviously, on the back you got Paul Bearer. So I don't know how many cards.
Don't know who's in between.
To be honest, who cares?
Yeah, true.
But this is another thing. I think we've spoken about it before. I mean, this is one of. I don't think you can buy this DVD anymore. It might be on the network, but you can't get this DVD anymore.
Yeah.
It didn't cost me a great deal. But I got it from a guy who lives in my local area. I was on Facebook Marketplace, and he had some N64 games, and I needed ECW, Hardcore Revolution, and one of the WCW games, and he had them on there. So I was like, oh, sweet. And he goes, oh, do you like wrestling beer? And I went, yeah. And then he just pulled out a load of shit, and I ended up buying like 4 mint on card NWO figures, a load of DVDs, some ECW ones as well. And he pulled this one out. And I was like, yeah, dude, it comes with 4 exclusive Topps foil stamped cards. Yes, I'll have that. And I just think a manager, I mean, this has got Paulie Dangerously, Captain Lou, Heenan, classy Freddie Bassie. And to be honest, Freddie Bassie was pretty good, for people that are in this new era, like the younger cats. You need to watch.
It's like the like what we spoke about last week when we said that a female wrestler in AEW needs a manager, needs a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's I think wrestling could do with 1 or 2 more. I know SmackDown's got its one main manager on there, and he is, he's the GOAT of managers right now. So it's difficult to try and bring anyone else in without him putting them over, like Heenan put Cornette over. Like, that's just, we go back to that like every now and again, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, but this is the thing. It's there's nothing new under the sun. It's not how you do, it's how it's done. Yeah, I swear Nas has said that in a fucking song. But it's like one of them things. Like, a lot of people, especially when people talk about AEW as well, they're like, we want to be different, want to do this, and like, we don't want to do your heel face stuff and all that. It's like fucking bollocks, mate. You need to do it, but it's not what you do, it's how it's done. That wrestling is wrestling. Wrestling is good guys and bad guys. Even in the era of when we had The Rock and Stone Cold, and Stone Cold was like the bad guy everyone loved to hate, but he was the bad guy, but he still went against the bad guy, which was McMahon, who was a fucking, Austin was a prick, but McMahon was an arsehole. So it's, like Team America, there's dicks, pussies, and assholes. You know, so you got like your different types of bad guys. You know, you can be a bit. There is grey areas. You know what I mean? You don't. It doesn't have to be strictly black and white, heel and face, but the concept of that needs to still be there or thereabouts. So a good manager, especially a good heel manager, you know, like we're saying with Abaddon, if she had a really good heel manager, because she's like a mute, you know, she don't say nothing apart from blah, 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 or whatever, you know. So if you've got someone, a real badass, like, you know, like basically telling her to do fucked up shit, you know, it should be incredible.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely, you know, absolutely incredible, because the champion she was up against, you know, what's her name?
Shida.
Name escapes. Huh?
The champion.
Yeah.
Is it Hikaru Shida?
Shida, that's it. Sorry, her name escaped me for a minute. Yeah, Shida. She's like your Uber face. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you had someone literally like standing over Abaddon shouting, "Get her!" like you had Heenan, like with the Brooklyn Brawler, telling him, "Fucking choke him!"
Brawler on the episode of Prime Time, which was the
Yeah,
best part
dude.
about that whole match feud. But we'll get to that towards the end of this.
Yeah, it's just incredible. It just
Yeah.
adds another level to it. Like the Brooklyn Brawler, yeah, he was a heel, but he was kind of like a nobody. But then when you back him with Heenan, fucking Heenan told you he's a nobody. But you know, we'll
I
get to
know.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's fucking incredible. Heenan's the man. I'm sorry. I just
Right.
get like a little like Heenan boner every time. Like
we get a pre-tape sort of vignette of Hogan saying that Bad News Brown will be yesterday's news. Righto. Yeah, and this is the great interview. It's Jesse with Bad News Brown, and talks
so
about
good.
how Liz had possibly done favors for Jack Tunney.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. I mean, were they actually talking about playing the purple trombone? Is that what, you know?
Oh, the old skin flute, yeah.
The old skin flute, the old spam javelin. Like, you know, it's one of them, like, you know.
What I liked about this interview, though, was that Bad News Brown continued to say that he wanted to be champion. He didn't really, yes, he talked down about Hogan and Elizabeth, but he still said he wanted to be champion. He still got that over. Because at the time, he was still one of the bigger heels on the show. He's obviously taking on, you know, the biggest babyface on the show. He still, like, he made that point at least twice, I think, that he wants to be champion. He wants that title shot.
He's saying that Hogan's getting in his way. He's like, Hogan's getting in the way. And he goes, I'm not letting this woman get in the way of my title shot. She's already broken up the mega powers, you know. And it was just great, you know, like.
Say that Tunney's corrupt.
It's so good because it was, I mean, Jesse Ventura, he just kept selling it as well. You know, it's one of them ones, you know, it was like, you know, this is the seedy underside to Jack Tunney's corrupt administration. You know, it's incredible. Then you got Vince talking about favors, if you will.
Yeah.
And I was like, just say it. She was smoking his blue vein cigar. You know, just say it.
Mean Gene's with Hogan and Miss Elizabeth. Hogan tells Gene to shut up. He then says that Savage is jealous and that he's defending Liz and all this. And like, I've got something to say about this. We'll get past it though. We'll get past this bit. Yeah, Hogan, he sounds a little bit different here. It sounds like he might be under the weather or something. I don't know. It just doesn't sound like that. Got that higher pitch, angry Hogan sort of, you know, warble to it. It's just.
He looks like. No, he looks like he's having heart palpitations. He
needs a bump.
Bruv, he's just had a fucking bump, I think. Like the geezer, he was just like literally like he was so like pumped.
Oh dear.
Like it's just Jesus. Oh man, it's crazy. Like it, you know, we all know.
Despite all that, there is a massive pop for Hogan. The Hogan pops are ridiculous in the 80s and early 90s. You know, they just.
Oh, he was, you know.
Yeah, he is the guy he's the face that runs the place at this point. It is Bad News Brown and Hulk Hogan with Miss Elizabeth. The lust in that man's eyes, Jesse says.
Jesse kills it, bro. I've got that written down. So look at the lust in that man's eye, McMahon. You know, and he's like, look at the happy couple. You know, he's just like
Yeah.
Jesse the Body Ventura. You know, incredible dude. You know, he is one of the alumni as well. 2004 inductee to the Hall of Fame, along with Bobby the Brain Heenan. That dais or whatever they call it. It was one of the great. I think Big John Studd is actually in that dais as well. There was a lot of guys from that kind of era. Jesse was the fucking man, dude. He knew the business. He knew how to sell shit. Great.
Oh, I have a couple of takes here. Now they're not the great takes that a friend of the show, Bishop, has, on terrible takes, or TW takes, his podcast. Shout out to Bishop on that one.
Yeah, big up Bishop, man.
I have two takes on regarding Hogan here. In 2021, would Hogan have been the heel in this story? Because he is effectively driving a wedge between a man and his woman to get himself a title shot, to maneuver his way into a title shot. It's so slimy that even Max Brannan batted an eyelid at it and went, "Oh, that's a bit much."
Fucking Max Brannan.
Now, for those of you who don't know who Max Brannan is, he was. I don't know if he's still on it. He was on a soap in the UK on EastEnders. He's played by Jake Wood, who American fans will know as the voice of the Geico Gecko. So there is something there. There's something for you to. But
fucking Max Brannan, bruv.
He was slimy on that show.
He was shagging his son's bird in EastEnders. He was shagging Stacey, who was Bradley's missus. So yeah.
So this is Would Hogan have been the heel in this?
I think. I mean, I see him as the fucking heel in this anyway. even in '89, because I'm like, dude, even for me, like him carrying fucking Elizabeth on his shoulders and shit, it's just too much. It's like,
yeah, it's unnecessary.
Come on, man. Like, you don't need to be doing that shit. Yeah, I mean, he probably would have been the heel, but like you say, it was like the son.
I wouldn't have cheered Hogan if he was trying to split up a wholesome couple like that. Well,
at this point, like you say, the sun shone out of his arse at this time. It was Hogan in '89. You don't get much poppier pops than that, apart from
the other thing I have, and this one did bug me a little bit when I was watching it, because I was thinking, in 1989, sure, people don't do what they do. They don't, that doesn't work for me, brother, and all that stuff. Should Hogan have put more heels over in this era? Should he have done one or two more jobs than he did?
My answer to that
for Bad News Brown here.
Yes.
How far over would that rivalry have gone after WrestleMania?
It was a bit short-sighted.
If instead of just going over and beating him with the leg drop.
But they could have.
It happens in this show.
They could have made it. They could have made it even better for WrestleMania, where basically he was protecting Elizabeth, and then Bad News has got the win because Hogan was more focused on Liz. And then you've got Macho coming saying, "See, look at you. You're too focused on her, and you've ended up losing tonight."
You've got a ready-made rivalry after WrestleMania. Hogan could have gone on the road and faced Bad News Brown. With Bad News dining out on that pinfall win that he got. In the alternate reality.
100%, bro. You're fucking bang on the.
I just think he could have done a couple more jobs. I know. The land of wrestling at that point was people scratching and clawing not to do jobs, and people openly say they didn't do jobs on TV or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, and we can also get to the main event of WrestleMania 5 when we get to that as well, because that's another thing as well. Where Randy Savage at this time was the ultimate heel, dude. He had so much heat, but people really liked him, dude. You
do get a few cheers for him when he makes his way out later on.
Even the shows after WrestleMania 5, he was top draw still. He was still a top draw. He was getting, a lot of, it to me as well. Like Liz, what are your thoughts on Elizabeth? I know we probably will talk about it more in WrestleMania 5 show, but
I think I think she was brilliant. Like, if I'm honest, I think she played that role perfectly. You know, she was Randy's manager. You know, she was also, yeah, as a babyface for Randy, it was also a slight distraction for him. You know, because she could play damsel in distress quite well.
I think it was crazy. Like on the Saturday night's main event from February, where the Mega Powers actually split up and they had to fight backstage. Dude, Randy literally threw her across the room. That was legit.
Was that Liz? Not a stunt double.
No, that was fucking. I'm pretty sure that was Liz, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I think the camera cut sort of gives it away because you see nothing of her face.
No, he fucking launches her across the room, man.
It might have been a stunt.
No, because then she comes running over, like, you know, she comes running over to protect Hogan, and she's there with Hogan, and then literally just grabs her up and throws her.
Yeah, no, it just feels like the way they cut the camera, like just a little bit.
Yeah,
it looked like they'd replaced her at this point, like.
No, it was legitimately her, and like Randy was fucking a bit of a jerk. He was probably, you know, he was well, let's say, quite highly strung, and he was probably on the two. Yeah, I know it's hard to believe, but I mean, my thoughts on Liz. I like Liz, and like you say, she did play a good role at that time, but I always preferred the managers like Sensational Sherry.
Liz, I think Liz worked better with Randy when Randy's babyface. I just don't, you know, there was no
100%.
You know, when he turned heel, he probably should have just dumped her. You know, I use that in quotes. He should have just said, "Right, I don't need you anymore."
Yeah,
that's
and
it.
then maybe got someone like Sherry.
Yeah, not have someone slightly heelishly come and take her away. In the way that Hogan did, which makes Hogan look like a douche. But
I'd tell you when was prime Liz, dude. When she went to WCW and her and Woman.
She's getting stuck in a bit more, yeah.
Oh, dude, I tell you what, that was prime. That show where, you know, she gave the shoe to Ric Flair.
The shoe.
Fuck, dude. Yes. Fucking yeah. And he went home with Liz on his left and Woman on his right. Woo! That was just. Yeah, dude, it gives me a little semi on just thinking about that. Good shit.
Vince says that this match won't be scientific. It isn't.
No,
it's a punch kick brawl. And strangely, at one point, because I'm pretty sure they forgot to put it there under the ring, Paul Bad News Brown checks every side of the ring, under the ring. He checks every side looking for this shovel.
It's a snow shovel thing.
Can't find it. Yeah, so he goes to the back, and they have to improvise. And Hogan stops the ref counting because he has to go and find this shovel. Or probably it might not have meant to have been the shovel that he was looking for. It could have been anything else.
And he's literally,
he's just literally underneath.
He's grabbed whatever he can from out the back. He's like, just hold on. I'm going to be back. But Bad News Brown, though, as well, like you say, he's a great, like, adversarial kind of heel guy. He was like, you know, it's, I mean, Bad News Brown.
The Olympic medalist as well, wasn't he?
He was a legit judo player. He trained in Japan as well. He was like a gaijin over there as well. Trained a lot of guys. He's a legit tough guy. And Bad News Brown always sticks in my head for the WrestleMania when it was him, or was it? I'm not sure if it was WrestleMania, but it was
Roddy Piper.
No, him and Jake the Snake Roberts.
Okay.
Where he had the sewer rat.
Oh, the sewer rat, yeah, and the snake, yeah.
And the snake, and that was when Jake the Snake did one of the best promos I've ever seen in my whole life, where the snake was like wrapping himself around him and that, and he's like, when you hang around with sewer rats, you know, he goes, you become one, and he's like, you know, who's hungrier? He's like, is Damien, you know, or is it you? And he's you know.
My favourite Jake promo is probably the one after Tuesday in Texas, where he slapped Liz and he's like begging Savage to let him touch her again. And like, it's so dark.
It's proper good though.
Yeah.
Was that when he was wearing leather pants, a jumper, and cowboy boots?
I mean, the swagger is real.
The swagger on point.
He is, yeah. you don't dress like that and like not look good. Bad News Brown gets on the mic. For some reason, he gets on the mic mid-match to tell Hogan he's going to hit him with a ghetto blaster.
Oh, it's great, mate. He's like, look at your hero, look at your champ. I'm going to hit him with a ghetto blaster.
And then Hogan moves out of the way. Obviously, he hulks up, hits him with a high knee. No big boot and body slam. It was a high knee. And then,
but I think it was supposed to be a big boot, but maybe he was too close to him. And he couldn't stretch his leg out, so he had to do the high knee.
But it was a high knee and a leg drop later, and we're finished. And Hogan must pose, pal.
Of course, pal. And then he gets Liz up on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Fucking taking the piss, fam. And
then you see they cut away after that to Savage outside, like pacing outside Liz's dressing room. It's a good build. Obviously, it's a good build. But yeah, I still think it's slimy of Hogan to step in.
Yeah, it's slimy. That's someone else's chick, fam. But the thing is, I don't think they're still not selling it that Liz is actually Macho Man's partner, is it? They're not selling it.
They're not getting to that point. They don't get to that until 91, I think.
Yeah. So they're still not selling that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mean Genes with $1 Million Man and Virgil. They're talking about the $1 Million Championship belt. It costs $1 million apparently. And yes, there's not a lot to it really. Like they said, it's not recognised by Jack Tunney and all that. And I mean, the poor old Jack Tunney gets a beating here, doesn't he? He doesn't even get to defend himself.
No, $1 Million Man says it's not. It's about money, not Tunney.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. I mean, it's so good. Also, just quickly, bro, talk about Virgil. Have you seen? He's recently put a video out on Cameo for someone. He had one of his bollocks hanging out.
No.
You heard about this? Yeah, bro.
Fuck.
He's fucking.
What's he doing?
He put. Someone paid for a cameo. It was like some auction site or whatever. Paid for a cameo from Virgil, and he's sitting there, legs akimbo, on his bed with one of his fucking nuts hanging out, just like spitting his promo, just saying, "Yeah, I had a picture of someone once on TV, and I burnt it. He was a scumbag and all this." And it's like, "Dude, your bollocks hanging out, mate. Sort it out." Did you know also Virgil was a tag team champion at one point, wasn't he?
Was he?
AWA with Rocky Johnson with the Rockstad.
Oh, AWA, yeah. Sorry, I was racking my brains to the Federation. Then I was like, oh.
Soul Train Jones, bro.
Gene also catches up with a blue blazer. Blazer says he's going airborne. He's from the top rope, from the ring post, and then he mentioned the rafters, and I got a little bit like...
Oh, dude, it's in my notes here. It was like...
I didn't like that.
When he said it...
They could have cut that. I think they could cut that from the show.
It's funny you say that because it was hard to listen to, bro.
Yeah.
And especially when, if you think about it, that is probably the promo that has stuck in Vince's head or whoever's head that has then kept asking him to come from the rafters. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, I think it was also meant to be like a sort of a lampoon on Sting coming from the rafters.
Yeah.
But he mentions like from the rafters and that, and I just I don't know. I felt funny, man. Like I just didn't like it.
Yeah, it took me by surprise. I didn't have much words after that because he says, I'm going to be high flying. He says something like that heavy belt is going to be weighing you down, but I'm going to be high flying. I'm going to come from the ring ropes, from the turnbuckle, from the rafters if I need to. And the way he looked at the camera and said that, I did get a bit of a chill, mate.
It was a bit of a chill, yeah.
Yeah.
But it is Ted DiBiase with Virgil against Blue Blazer. Ted jumps in before the bell. He's in control for most of this, but we do get an unbelievable dive through the ropes from the Blazer.
Boom.
It looks like he jumps from the middle of the ring.
It was, and I have specifically stated on this, okay? All these fucking, I watched some recent wrestling, yeah, because I'm trying to watch a bit more recent stuff now to keep, abreast of what's going on. And I personally am getting sick of seeing people standing outside the ring looking like they're waiting for someone to jump on them. Yeah.
It's
And when you've got guys, and it doesn't do anything to help people suspend their disbelief. But this needs a shout out. Owen Hart and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase just knows, he can hear when he's coming, and he turns round at just the right time. It's excellent. It is called being a good worker. Owen Hart he literally launches himself. Now that is a suicide dive. I hate to call it that, but that is an absolutely fantastic move. $1 Million Man absolutely nails it, and he just turns at the right time.
Yeah.
Guys working right now, you need to fucking watch this.
It's an incredibly short match again. Like, it's only 3-4 minutes long, but in the midst of all that, there's a few drop kicks from the Blazer, but then Blazer goes for a leapfrog. Ted catches him and power slams him for a free count, and it's technically beautiful. Like,
it's good.
It's a good match. It's short, but it's good. You've
got two great workers, dude. When you put them together, I mean, Ted DiBiase is great inside the ropes. Owen Hart, one of the best. You're always going to get greatness. It was always going to be good.
Yeah.
It was always going to just be limited by time.
Mean Gene's out in the arena for an interview with Miss Elizabeth. She said she cares about both, but then she finally gets pressed for questions. Will you be in Hulk Hogan's corner? She says, no, there's a few cheers. I can hear it.
Yeah.
Some people that agree with me. Randy comes out to celebrate.
He's loving it. He's fucking loving it.
Keeps interrupting Gene, like when he's trying to ask Liz if she'll be in Randy's corner. Eventually she says no. Randy starts kicking off.
He looks like he's going to punch her in her face, bro.
Sleazebag Hogan shows up.
Yeah.
He says he's going to take the title, which makes you feel like that's what he was after the whole time. He was only putting the moves on Liz to get after the title. Randy looks crazed and great here. It's the madness taking over. But yeah, it was a fun little interview. But yeah, Hogan has to come out and stick his beak in again.
Beak.
Yeah, he's on the beak.
He's on the beak, sticking his beak in.
And then it's another quick cut. We cut to another ad break, and we're back with Gene again with the Brain Busters and Bobby Heenan. And this is just three great talkers spitting a couple of lines.
It's I've got something to show you. Here
we go. For
I'm
those
a huge
that are listening,
fan.
they're not viewing, Chris is about to whip his trousers off.
I'm about to whip something out, I tell you. But it's not me cock. It is... It is a 1991 poster of Arn Anderson.
Who's that he's taking a shot at? I can't see.
I was trying to work that out.
Mark Mero?
Yeah, I think it's Johnny B. Bad.
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Johnny B. Bad, by the look of it.
There's a classic poster of Arn Anderson from 1991.
1991, World Championship Wrestling Incorporated. And it is, so it's an official poster. So there you go. Yeah. It's another one to get framed up there next to Thunder in Paradise.
Oh, God, Thunder in Paradise.
For me, Arn Anderson is one of the greatest to ever step in a ring. He, not to mention the work with the Four Horsemen, even, in his own right, he could sell, he was great technically. But I do have a question for you.
No.
At this time, is Arn Anderson in the Hall of Fame, the WWE Hall of Fame?
As a horseman, I think he is, yeah.
Is he in there already?
I think the Horsemen are in there, yeah. I think because Flair's in it twice, isn't he?
Once as the Horseman and once as
Flair. And once,
as Flair. Yeah. I'll tell you what I did actually see, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Ric Flair watching the 1992 Rumble. I've got to catch up on that. Yeah. I think they're watching it together on the Broken Skull Ranch. I've got to catch up with that.
Okay.
But my question is, so I don't think Arn Anderson is in there as Arn Anderson.
No, he won't be going in there anytime soon.
This is my question, bro. This is my question. Jake the Snake's in there already, ain't he? He's been put in there.
Yeah.
He went in there a little while ago.
Yeah.
You've got these guys.
Tully's in there as Horseman as well, I think.
Tully's in there as Horseman, but do you think that these guys that are working with AEW, like Taz, for example, so Taz and Arn Anderson, do you think that the WWE will put them in the Hall of Fame or not because they've been working with AEW?
Not whilst they're on another TV show. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I know there was like a couple of like agreements when I think when they put Flair in, I think he was working with TNA at the time.
Yeah,
they put Flair in as with the Horseman. I think he was with TNA still. So I think there was an agreement made where Christian went back to TNA for one night or something. Like, I can't really remember the.
Oh yeah, I think yeah. Christian Cage, yeah, he was at that time, weren't he? Yeah, I think you're right. I just think it's a bit of a travesty, really, that Arn Anderson's not in the WWE Hall of Fame as Arn Anderson, because, I mean, if you think about it, WWE own all the footage of WCW.
Yeah.
So why he couldn't have gone in there as Arn Anderson from WCW?
Well, he was working there as a producer, wasn't he, or as an agent, and he probably would have done.
Yeah.
They not got rid of him. So.
Yeah, I just think it's sad because I love Arn.
Yeah.
I've got both his galoobs. You know what I mean? White pants and red pants, and he's wearing the red pants in this as well, the AA red pants.
That's galoobs were the best, weren't they?
Oh fuck! You got to love a galoob. You know what I mean? It's even to the point where I've got two Stings. One of them's in my cabinet. I've actually got two Lugers as well, but I've got two Stings because this is the Sting with the orange pants and the thing, the same as you see on the back of that.
Yeah.
The same Sting.
Yeah, I see him.
So I've got to have him next to the. Do you know what I mean? Look at him, beautiful. Looks like a bit like fucking Idol, doesn't he? White Wedding.
It is a little bit Billy Idol, yeah.
It is a bit Billy Idol, isn't it? Yeah.
Whilst we are talking about people who rock like Billy Idol, The Rock has cut a really generic babyface promo. When they're good, they're good, and when they're bad, they're better. Or some shit.
Yeah.
Like that.
And
terrible.
Sean's got his hand over Mean Gene as well.
I'm surprised he's not patting him on the head or something. Like it was.
Yeah.
It was a really crap promo, but the match is. I loved it, start to finish. I think this is a little nod to Ric Flair because Arn does the spot from the top rope where he gets body slammed off it.
Yeah, and he's like at the top going, no, yeah.
It feels like his little nod to his buddy in Atlanta. Shawn Michaels and Tully worked really well together. That head scissors spot and everything was just, I don't know, man. These teams just got it. Like tag team wrestling, they really hyped up the Brainbusters for, being two of the best. It's not something they would normally do. They wouldn't normally just bring them in as Arn and Tully. They would have been, some sort of gimmick remake, and they could have been truckers or something stupid like that. But they just brought them in as two tough guys, from the Carolinas.
I think maybe the Rockers had worked with them previously in other territories.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I think because they. I remember Shawn Michaels talking about some other stuff as well. I think it was, he spoke about it in some interview or something where he was saying, we worked with these guys. They did a real big program with us two old guys. I know it was Buddy Rose. It was it was the Rockers, and they went all around the country with Buddy Rose and Playboy, because Buddy Rose had Sherry Martel. It was a tag team. Who was Buddy Rose?
Yeah, I'm a little bit.
No, with Land. I think it was Buddy Rose and Landell as a tag team. And basically, the Rockers. The Rockers did a massive program with them. Yeah, it was Playboy, Buddy Rose, and Doug Summers.
Oh, okay, wow.
Buddy Rose and Doug Summers, I think. And it was in AWA in the mid '80s. So it was and their manager was Sherry Martel, and then that's why Sean says it was crazy that it would be Sherry Martel that would then be with him when he kind of turned into the Heartbreak Kid, because she was, because literally they went all around the country with Summers and Playboy Buddy Rose and Sherry Martel. So she knew, and he said he had a bit of a crush on her when so. But yeah, it's just weird because I mean, Playboy Buddy Rose. He didn't look like a wrestler at all, and he didn't look like, no. But he was great. He was absolutely great. I've watched the Rockers. I think, do you know what? I think that match, it might have been on here on the World's Greatest Managers under Sensational Sherry. I think that tag team match is actually on here. And it's a really good match for people to watch. It's got some really good matches. Some really, really good matches. But yeah, it's there's the Bobby Heenan versus Greg Gagne weasel suit match on there.
Yeah,
and then you've got
where the weasel suit match started,
Yeah, and you've got Jim Cornette versus Paulie Dangerously in a tuxedo match.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. A lot
got Teddy Long and the Freddie Mercury lookalike.
Oh yeah, he was the manager of the
Paul Ellering.
Paul Ellering, that's it. Yeah, two people with no hair having a hair versus hair match.
That's right. Bobby Heenan pulled the top rope down to get an advantage with Sean going flying over the top.
Amazing.
But the referee just ejects him from ringside, just chucks him out, and the fans are loving that because it's Heenan complaining, and and this is where we see some really good tag team work from the Brainbusters. We get that picture perfect spine buster from Arn, and then this match goes into like chaos, like frantic brilliance mode. From the hot tag that I think was it Marty
Sean
gets to Sean, or is it the other way? I can't remember now.
That's right.
The hot tag, and it just kicks off from there. They spill outside. They're both throwing punches and going after each other. They do get counted out, but it's a hell of a way to build a match and build a rematch.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's absolutely great because
this should have main evented this show.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was so I mean at WrestleMania 5, who was the because both of these guys involved in a match at WrestleMania 5? Or was it the Rockers had a really good match at WrestleMania 5?
They not against Bossman and Akeem?
Bossman and Akeem.
That one.
Yeah, the Twin Towers.
Yeah, the Twin Towers, yeah.
There's a notorious story about Shawn Michaels fucking being pissed out of his head and drinking really, really late the night before on WrestleMania Sunday, and he literally went to bed at 4:30 off his nut, and then had to get up and wrestle the next day.
Just 80s wrestling, isn't it?
Yeah, but you wouldn't tell looking at the match. You really wouldn't, because Shawn was. I mean, say what you want about Shawn Michaels, but he's fucking great at what he does.
Yeah,
always has been. Top notch.
Yeah, both teams get counted out. We then get a little video clip of the build-up to what's technically the main event of this show, the Red Rooster and the Brooklyn Brawler.
Dude, This whole
the
thing.
build-up's good though, because they cut back to the bit on prime time where the brawler, well, first Heenan slaps Rooster.
Oh, it's
The
great.
brawler attacks him with a stool. He hits Monsoon as well, which was like unheard of. You don't
Dude,
attack Gorilla Monsoon like that.
the bump that Heenan takes when the Rooster fucking hits him, he literally turns himself inside out. And this is a guy who had a really bad neck still at that time. And the bump that he took was just incredible when the Rooster hit him. But he says something on the WrestleMania 5 debates. They didn't debate all of them because I think at the time not all of the matches were signed. So you had like the Powers of Pain versus Demolition. You had Haku and Hercules. You had Andre and Jake Roberts. Sensational Sherry and Rockin' Robin. I don't know if that match actually went ahead. I think there was a different match.
Are the WrestleMania debates something they should bring back?
Oh, dude, 100%, bro. 100% bring them back. But you had Heenan and the Brawler and the Red Rooster in these debates, yeah? And Heenan is just absolutely fantastic in this when he's saying to him, "You're just," he forgets his name. He goes, "You're just Dave Taylor." "No, you're not. You're making me lose my mind." He goes, "You're just Terry Taylor." He goes, "You're not the Rooster. I gave you that name." He's like, "You shouldn't even be using it." And he calls him a fucking dummy. And he says, "You're a barnyard piece of garbage, limited subhuman." He calls him. Heenan just absolutely goes. Now, I don't know if Heenan legitimately.
I might have to watch it in full.
Oh, dude, it's incredible the way he says it. He calls him a barnyard piece of garbage, limited subhuman. And I was just like, wow, say it again, Heenan.
Heenan and the Brawler are with Jesse in the back. And, Heenan says that the Red Rooster is a nobody. He also says that the Brawler is a nobody, but he's his nobody.
He's a better nobody than that nobody. And he goes, I could always get a better nobody than that nobody. And it's just crazy.
And then Mean Gene is with the Red Rooster, and Red Rooster says he's a somebody. And I quickly stuck my hand up and said, no, he's not.
Tell you who he is, bro. Tell you who he is. I'm going to show you something else.
Oh, it's Terry. It's the computerized man of the 90s.
He is the computerized man of the 90s. He is Terry Taylor.
Terry fucking Taylor.
Okay? He's the computerized man of the 90s. So this is 1991. So we're talking
a fucking stooge.
Yeah, but there's another one, Arn Anderson in WCW. There's 1991 cards. Look at Terry Taylor's. Look at his little face. Look.
And then he fucking crowed on his way out of the interview, and I just thought, oh fuck, man. Yeah. Because this is our main event. Everyone again, I'm saying it. I'm saying it out loud because I don't believe it.
It's great, man. Heenan makes it.
This main event goes 1 minute and 5 seconds or something. Rooster hits a small package, and he gets a 3 count, and that's our main event on NBC, on the big network, on the big show with a 10.0 rating. Red Rooster beats Brooklyn Brawler with a small package in about 1 minute and 5. Bobby Heenan and the Brawler attack the Rooster. Rooster gets his heat back, and Heenan does that sweet dive over the top rope he does to escape. The less said about this shite, the better, though, because it was god-awful.
Like you say.
But then we do get a decent end because Mean Gene's with Randy Savage. Savage says he doesn't need anybody, and then he smashes the fucking place up.
Oh, he wrecks the joint, dude.
The madness has taken over.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that after-school special that they have in America about roid rage? And it's got Ben Affleck in it.
No.
And he smashes the shit out of his house, and he just goes like fucking going crazy in his house. Like then he ends up a crying, crumbling mess on the floor, and he smacks his mum in the face or something. And it's crazy, dude. They actually show it in the documentary Bigger, Faster, Stronger. The side effects of being American. It's about steroids. And there's this after school special, but it looks like, you know, he just goes crazy, and he's just about to clothesline a bin, and he like slips over and ends up like hugging the bin onto the floor.
Oh,
It's fucking well funny.
Savage, yeah, smashes the place up, and then we get roll credits. We're out of time.
And this is on the network, right? So anyone watching us now discussing this, you can actually go on WWE Network, and it is the Saturday Night Main Event, 1989 March.
Yeah, 1989. I wasn't even 2 yet. March 89.
Man, I was 7 years old.
Yeah, the old man was 7 at this point.
It's crazy.
But yeah, that's it. That's our lead in to WrestleMania 5, which it's going to be with you next week, isn't it? That's it.
It's going to be with you next week. But you've got some homework, you see, guys. Anyone listening to this, you've got some homework. Watch this Saturday Night Main Event. Also, please watch the WrestleMania 5 debates. It's on YouTube, okay? There's a couple of them on there. So watch the WrestleMania 5 debates.
Watch the debates. Watch the primetime episode before WrestleMania, which is from Trump Plaza.
Yes.
It's basically Bobby Heenan accidentally starting the show early. You know, he's looking for Monsoon. He finds him at a casino table.
Yeah,
you know,
it's fucking
forgets who Tony Schiavone is. It's incredible stuff. Brother Love shows up. It's really good. It's a really good episode of Primetime. It's on the network as well. Definitely check it out.
I'm gonna watch that again as well, because I watched a bit of it when I was doing bits and bobs the other day. I love me bits and bobs, but yeah, I was doing some bits and bobs and I had it on. But I'm gonna watch that prime time again, because I mean, like I say, this is prime Heenan time. This is you know, on this Saturday night's main event, he had 3 matches. In WrestleMania 5, he has fucking a handful of matches. You know, he's littered through the show, and it's incredible. Really is.
And yeah, that's it. Like I think we'll remind everyone to hit that subscribe button.
Hit it. Just touch it once.
Back it, tickle it, punch it. Do whatever you got to do.
Do whatever you can. Like, you know, just slap the bell. You don't even need to get notifications if you want to be a punk bitch like that. Yeah, but just touch it. It don't cost you nothing. It's absolutely free. And we will keep bitching until we meet 100, get 1,000 subscribers. Until then,
exactly it. You know,
we're gonna
like, comment.
Do it.
We're on those podcast apps. You know, write a review. Give us the stars. Give us the like. Give us the comment. Give us the follow. Do whatever it takes. You know, keep putting us over.
Keep putting us over, dude. Come on. Do more for us than Hogan did for Hills in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Literally nothing.
Literally nothing. Do more. Do more. Be better. Touch the bell. We love you for it. And we love everyone who's watching and listening and sticks with us.
We really
who tweets us. You know, we fucking love you guys, man. We love this shit. And we're just going to keep doing it. But we are going to keep bitching like motherfuckers until we get to 1,000 subscribers. And then we will do the giveaway. And then one of you lucky viewers or listeners or whatever, subscribers, you're going to get some free shit, dude. We've got enough. Okay? We will give you some free shit.
So, yeah, that's it. That's Saturday night's main event from March in 1989. IBJB, that's Chris Dredd. We thank you all for watching and listening. Stay safe, be good, and we'll see you all next time.
And touch the bell. Touch the bell. Do it now. Bye.